Welcome to Good as Gold, hosted by Nick Grovich, a show dedicated to helping you understand precious metals and rare coins, how to avoid the pitfalls when buying, and how to understand the inner workings of the precious metals market. Now, here's the host of Good as Gold, Nick Grovich.
Hi, Nick Grovich, back for another week of Good as Gold. A lot of times I sit here and I don't really know what I'm going to talk about until about 10 minutes before I'm on the air, because my mind is going over 30 different things at once, and so I have a tough time deciding what's most important and how I'm going to talk to you about it. So if there's anything you want to talk about, give me a call here at the station, which is 602-324-1510. Or if you have something specific, call me at my office, 480-553-5282. What I was going to try to do today is talk a little bit more about the specific things you can do to maybe help your portfolio out or profit a little bit more over the next couple of years, and take advantage of this transition that we're going through in the coin and the bullion markets. Seems like I always say I'm going to get to that, and then the last 5 minutes of the show, I talk about what you should buy very quickly before I run out of time, and I never really get around to specifics. And there's a couple things I want to say. I spend a lot of time telling people what not to do, and that's good to a point. I think you have to know what not to do, what to avoid. But I realize I spend a lot of time saying, don't buy this, don't buy that, don't deal with this guy, don't deal with that guy. And I don't spend enough time telling you what you should be buying. And, one of the things I can tell you is American Federal, my company, has been around for about 30 years now. And one of the easiest ways to make sure you're buying the right coins, getting the right price, is simply to call us and deal with American Federal. Because I can tell you, I give out so much free advice that people think they can go out and do it all themselves. Oh, well, Nick says to buy modern eagles. I'll just go out and buy modern eagles on my own. Then they go out and they pay 3 or 4 times what the coins are worth, and they call me back and say, well, you told me to buy modern eagles, and now you're telling me I bought the wrong thing. Unless you really know what you're doing, you really just need to deal with somebody like us. We'll take care of it. If you're worried about us making 5 or 10 or 3%, depending on what you buy, I guarantee you're going to more than make that up on what you save by not dealing with the wrong dealer. You're going to make that up by not having a broker calling you 3 times a day trying to sell you something that they make thousands and thousands of dollars in commission. And you're going to make it up just in stress. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you some ideas here today anyway. One of the reasons, again, I talk about the mistakes is because I see the same mistakes over and over and over again. And I usually don't like to mention dealers' names, but I'm probably going to mention a couple today because I have in my hand 2 invoices that I was given this past week. So one client who has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with me on bullion, on mostly eagles, gold eagles, silver eagles, needed to raise some money. I think I've talked to him about him a little bit before. He bought because another dealer convinced him that the banks were going to go belly up and take all of his money if he didn't get out by a certain date. So he had to spend all his money, take everything out of the bank, and buy gold. Well, of course, he bought gold at $1,500 or $1,600. Now he needs money. He's not doing so well health-wise. He's got some problems, and he needs some of his money. And of course, he needs to sell probably the worst time he's had in many years to sell gold. So he's taken a pretty big loss. Well, in the process of going through what he had and trying to decide what would be the best thing for him to sell to raise money, he sends me an invoice from a company down in Beaumont, Texas. And some of you will know the company. I'm not even going to say the name. I'm just going to say Beaumont, Texas. That should tell you enough if you've dealt with them. So what he did here, and this was all just this year, he spent $100,000, actually it's $96,000 this year, on gold eagles, because that's what I told him to buy, was gold eagles. Well, you know, I look at this, and it's just insane. It's just crazy. So here he's bought a 1991 set. That's 1.85 ounces of gold. They charged him $9,100 for it. He bought a 2006 $50 gold piece, but it's graded MS70. Now that's just a $50. That's just a $50 eagle, 1 ounce of gold. They charged him $2,700 for it. He's got 1992 quarter-ounce gold eagles, which are one of the dates that are worth a little bit more. I think they're worth maybe $400 a coin instead of what was the gold worth, $335. He bought one of those for $10,255 for one coin. So, yeah, I told him to buy gold eagles, but I didn't tell him to go pay 3 to 20 times what the coins are worth. Then they talked him into some of the better date coins. I've tried to explain that some of the half-ounce gold eagles, some of the dates are actually rare and considered collectible. I've also tried to be very specific about telling you not to buy the collectible ones. You want to buy the bullion coins that you're not paying the collectible premiums on. And in fact, the 1991 is a coin I talk about all the time. It's worth $3,000. He bought 3 of those for $17,000. So he turned $96,000 into a little less than $32,000, and this is just this 1 year. Another invoice I have is from somebody who's very well known, very well respected in the coin business. And this client, I told him to buy bullion items. So he went and called David Hall Rare Coins. David Hall Rare Coins is run by another gentleman, Van Simmons, and they're known for selling high-quality coins. Well, because I told this client to buy bullion-related coins, he bought St. Gaudens, he bought MS65 silver dollars, and he bought a bag of Morgan dollars. All 3 things that I am very specific about not buying. And when he called them back to have them buy it back, they basically told him they don't buy that kind of stuff back because it's junk. But I have the invoice in my hand. They sold it to him and charged him just about double what the stuff's worth today. So it was worth more when he bought it, I'm sure. But again, here somebody took my recommendations, went elsewhere, and then was victimized by the broker they talked to. They took the general idea I had and twisted it around so that the brokers made a huge commission on it. Now when I get back, we'll go through some more specifics.
Once again, here's Nick Grovich.
Okay, Nick Grovich back with you. Let's talk about rare coins. I say in general, I tell most people not to buy rare coins. There's a couple reasons for that. Unless you really know what you're doing or you're dealing with a real coin dealer, I don't mean some broker that's calling you 20 times a week. Buying from a broker over the phone with his hot deal of the week just guarantees you're going to lose money. If you're dealing with somebody one-on-one, and believe me, a lot of dealers simply can't do this. The big dealers you're seeing on TV, they're not going to be able to buy you the right coins. You need to either deal with us because we deal in this, or go to a show and find somebody who really deals in rare coins and really can buy you the right thing. Even a dealer, I'm going to pick on David Hall Rare Coins for a minute, very good, reputable dealer. They sell a lot of high-grade coins. The one thing I always loved about David way back in the 80s was he always professed to buy the highest quality and rarest coins. Now, what happens as time goes on, that's great when you have 100 or 200 clients, but when all of a sudden you've got a couple thousand clients or 10,000 clients, you can't buy them all high-quality rare coins. So that's why by the mid-80s, 85, 86, 87, you saw dealers that recommended buying only the best were selling stuff like Mercury dimes in MS-65 and Buffalo nickels in MS-65, 6, and 7. And in case you don't know, those coins, most dealers, laugh at those coins. They're common as dirt. Today, they're coins you could buy for under $50. Some of the coins under $20 a coin, and yet they were being sold as investment coins. And why was that? Because that's all they could buy when the market was hot. So they had to sell something. So is that really sticking to your guns and selling really truly rare coins? If you want to be in that market, I think there's great coins out there. I'm going to give you some examples right now of some of the great coins. I mean, you don't want to go buy exactly what I'm telling you right here, but these are some good examples. But you're just not going to buy these from most of the guys you're going to talk to on the phone. I mean, you might if you happen to have a relationship set up already. But like I said, you're not going to just call a dealer and say, hey, I want to send you $1 million, buy me good coins. You're not going to get these types of coins. So here's a couple examples. I've been working on this, and I complain a lot. And I complain about PCGS when they come up with their charts that tell everybody how wonderful rare coins are. And I say, that they go back, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but they go back and they use numbers from 1970 and try and compare it to numbers today. And the numbers are just totally bogus. The survey's not worth the paper it's written on. So the only way to really find out if a coin's gone up is if you could track that identical coin through auctions or sales. And that's pretty hard to do. I would love to do that. I don't think I have the time to do it. But what I tried to do here is go through auction records so that I had real sales that took place, not just looking at what was bid and what was asked. So here's a couple of the coins that are exceptions to what I've said the last 20 years. An 1893S Morgan dollar. Now, if you know rare coins at all, you know that is one of the absolute rarest dates of Morgan dollars. Even in a worn out condition, as long as the coin's not beat up or run over by a car, even really worn out condition, that's going to be a $2,000 to $3,000 coin. So I went in and I thought, well, let's see how that coin is done, because number one, that's a very historically significant coin. A lot was going on in the 1890s as far as silver and paper currency. It's a low mintage coin. It's a very collectible coin. It's known by collectors. That's another criteria I use. It has to be something that's truly collectible. It's one of the rarest dates. So again, it fits our category of what a true rare coin is, and the number of coins available is tiny. I don't have that number with me right now, but it's tiny. The mintage was tiny, and very few coins survived. So in MS-65, I found several auction records. In 1997, there was a coin that went at auction, and it went for $154,000. And in 1914, the coin went at auction again for $646,250. So in 7 years, I don't know what that percentage comes out to, but what is that, about 5 times? It went up about 5 times. But this is what I've been saying. Not everybody's going to buy a $154,000 coin. If you look at the coin in MS-63, so we're going down a couple grades here, a little bit easier, not easy to find, but a little bit easier to find. I've got a lot of different auction records. So in 1990, the coin went for $44,000. 1999, $69,000. 2001, a coin went for $47,000, so it went back down. Then in 05, it goes up to $92,000. Another one for $106,000. 07, $149,000. The last auction record I can find is 2009. It went for $143,000 and change. So from 1990 to 2009, just shy of 20 years, the coin went from $44,000 to $143,750. I'm going to point out here that the prices I'm telling you, in other words, when I say it went for $44,000, that's what it actually sold for at auction. So that's a real price. That's a price somebody actually paid for the coin. The price that I'm telling you, the $143,000 that it brought at auction, that's the price the next person paid, but don't forget the auctioneer takes 22% of that. So, you know, if you sold it for $143,000, you paid the auctioneer almost $30,000 in commission or fees on that. Okay, let's look at some other coins. I've told you I like the really early American coins. So I looked at another coin that it's fairly well known. It's an early American gold coin, a 1796 $2.50 gold piece. I won't go through every auction record on it, but in 1992, that coin sold. This is in AU condition, AU 58. So this is not really what you'd consider a high quality coin, but for a coin of that age, it's a fairly decent quality. The coin went for $44,000. Just this year, the coin sold again for $223,000. So not a bad increase. Not a bad increase. $44,000 to $223,000. I look at a 1909 $5 Indian. A lot of people put sets together. Dealers love selling you sets because they're selling more than one coin. A lot of times I'll tell people, instead of buying the set, why not try and buy the rarest coin in the set? Because when other collectors decide to put the set together, that's the coin the collector is going to have the most trouble finding, and that's the coin they're going to run up in value. So that would have held true with that 1893 S dollar, because that's the key to the set. And also with this 1909 this is the last coin made at the New Orleans Mint. Very low mintage, very tough coin to find in any condition. But again, if you use that logic, said, well, let's find a series that's popular with collectors, which the $5 Indians are, something historically significant. That whole series is significant. That's one of the last coins made at the New Orleans Mint, so there's significance there. It's a well-known coin. It's not some rare coin that nobody knows about. It's highly sought after. So again, this coin would have fallen into the rare coin category that I would have said, yeah, that's a good coin to buy if you wanted to be in rare coins. So in 1999, that coin sold at auction for $34,500. Again, I won't go through every auction they've been in, but last year, 2013, the coin sold for $105,750. So about triple increase on that. Here's a coin that I'm just buying from a collector out in California. He's an old client of mine. This is actually a coin, if you happen to have $100,000, this would be a great coin to add to your collection. I think you'll make, I don't know, I shouldn't say you'll make a lot of money, but I think this is the type of coin that's going to continue to go up in value. It's a 1776 continental currency. It's I talked about this last week. It's a pattern for a $1 coin. In MS62 condition, MS62 for a 1776 coin is a very high quality coin. This coin in 1988 was $13,200. So that's not out of a lot of people's reach. A lot of people can afford $13,000 for a coin. By 2003, it was up to $28,000, and last month a coin sold for $94,000. I have one available right now. You can buy it for right around $100,000, but don't wait too long because it'll probably be gone very quickly at that price, believe it or not. But again, $13,000, $94,000, nice return on your money. There's a couple other coins that I want to go over for slightly different reasons, because they're going to lead me into another topic, which is promoted coins. A lot of people inadvertently end up buying coins that are promoted simply because when the dealers are promoting them, they're calling you or sending out information, or they're writing books about the coins they're promoting. So you get stuck buying the coins that are promoted.
Once again, here's Nick Grovich.
Okay, Nick Grovich back with you. You know, any real collectors out there, probably recognize these coins. A lot of you, if you're still listening, are probably scratching your head wondering what the heck I'm talking about. But what I'm trying to get across is, if you want to be in rare coins, I can put you in the right kinds of coins. But if you just take the information I give you and call one of these commercial dealers, which is what, let's face it, that's what most of you are going to run into, because if you're not real coin guys, if you're not real coin collectors, you're going to know the guys who do all the advertising and all the marketing and all the slick promotions that you get in the mail. And those are not typically the guys who are going to give you the rare coins. I had quite a few people who called me and said, well, Nick, I did buy really rare coins. And so one client had the 11-piece gold set. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's one of each type of coin. So you have the 2 $1 golds that they made, the 2 2.5s, the 2 $5, the 2 10s, the 2 20s, and the $3. So you had the St. Gaudens and the Liberty, and then you had, on the smaller coins, you had the $10 Liberty, $10 Indian, $5 Indian, $5 Liberty, and so on, down to the Type 1 $1 gold. That's an 11-piece set. It's kind of a standard set. And they bought that in MS65, which is really great quality for that set. And they bought it in 1999. And, that set costs less today than it cost back in 1999. So here's somebody, they thought they were buying rare coins, and the dealer convinced them that was rare, that those coins were rare. And you can't really call an MS65 set common, but it's not the rarity that I'm talking about. When it's just like art. You hear about, help me out, what's a good name? Van Gogh? Yeah. You hear about a Van Gogh. I'm talking to Jen. She's sitting here cheering me on here. You should have a microphone today and help me out. But you hear about a Van Gogh going for $41 million. That doesn't mean you can go buy, I don't know names in art, but it doesn't mean you can go buy some semi-known name for $5,000 and you're going to make $1 million on it. I mean, the Van Gogh goes for $41 million because it's a Van Gogh. It's recognized, it's special, it's ultra rare. It's the same thing in rare coins. The one thing you have to be careful of in rare coins, like I was saying earlier, are the promoted coins. And I see I'm falling back into telling you what not to buy. But promoted coins, I'll give you an example. Back in the 80s, I keep saying David Hall, so he's either going to come after me or not at this point. So in the 80s, he promoted MS65 silver dollars. He was really hot on that. David was the man back in the 80s. He was the guy everybody watched, everybody emulated. If Hall came out and said, buy MS65 silver dollars, I guarantee you every dealer in the country, or practically every dealer in the country, benefited, because our clients too wanted MS65 dollars. So it worked out really great. I don't remember the exact numbers, but let's say they went from $100 up to almost $1,000. The problem is, at $1,000, David himself really was in a situation where I can't see how he could have ever told his clients to sell, because what does he do when 10,000 clients or 5,000 clients want to sell all their MS65 coins? Who's he going to sell them to? But if you got in on that promotion at the beginning when they were $100 and rode it, and at some point, that's the tough part. What point do you sell? Do you sell at 500, 600, 1,000? I got a lot of people out of their coins between $600 and $900. So very few of them hit the peak, but it was a lot better than writing it back down to $100. And those coins eventually went down to about $75. And today, how many years later? 20 years, 30 years later, they're $105. So the promotion was great, and on paper it looked like everybody was making money. But the minute anybody wanted to take their profit off the table, the market would have fallen apart, and it couldn't be done. So I'm not saying David did anything wrong. He bought a coin that he believed in. He created enough of a market and enough of a following that the prices went crazy. But I don't know how many people really benefited by it, because what happens with investors is most investors watch, well, it's at 100, now it's at 200, now it's at 500, well, now it's gone up 5 times, I better jump in. So they start jumping in at 500, then finally at 800, and I remember this because I had a client who did this. When it got to $800, he goes, well, I guess this market's really for real, I better buy some. And I'm thinking, $800, it just went from 100 to 800, and now you want to jump in. And sure enough, he did. And he probably still owns them. They're worth $100 a coin. So there are rare coins, too, really rare coins that benefit and get hurt by that. Here's another example. An 1870 Carson City $20 gold piece. Now, this is an extremely rare coin. It's one of the keys to the set. Actually, anything 1870 Carson City is very rare. It doesn't matter what coin it is. But the $20 Liberties were very, very highly promoted, mostly in the 2000s. Is that the way to say that? From 2000 to about 2007. Books were written about them. Same thing happened to 2.5 Indians. Very, very highly promoted. The main dealer who was promoting them was selling hundreds of millions of dollars worth of coins every year. So here's a coin in, let's say, an XF quality. That's extra fine. That's a high quality circulated coin, but for this coin it's so rare, that's a pretty rare coin, that in 1999 the coin was going for about $92,000. And at the peak of the promotion peaked out 2007, maybe into 2008, that coin actually got up to $345,000. So if you're buying then, the reason that coin was at 345 was because that series was being very heavily promoted. So there were more buyers for the coin than what you'd normally see. So depending where you would have bought that coin, after that coin sold for, I suppose that's probably a record, $345,000. 2 years later, it went for $230,000, and earlier this year, one sold for $282,000. So if you bought in 99, you paid 92, you almost tripled your money. That's not so bad. But if you jumped in when it was being promoted, you're losing money. You're losing a good chunk of your money. And you can look at that same coin in a higher quality. You go up one step to an AU coin. And in fact, what's funny is the only records I could find was one coin was sold during that height of the promotion for $360,000, and another coin was sold this year for $305,000. So you have to be really, really careful. You know, if you start getting books and flyers about one particular area of the coin market, and one or two dealers are really promoting it, it's all a matter of where in that promotion you get in. If you get in the first year or two, you might be okay, but you get in after the coins have already gone up 100, 200, 300%, you're just probably in the wrong situation. So I have lots of other examples. I don't think it does any good to keep talking about individual coins because, like I said, most of you don't know the coins I'm talking about. I do have one other coin I'm going to mention, just to kind of give you an idea that not every super rare coin is a $300,000 coin, although honestly the bulk of them are going to be $50,000, $100,000 or more. But here's a really interesting coin. If you have a red book or you want to look it up on the computer, it's an 1652 pine tree shilling from New England. And to me, a coin from 1652 from the colonies, I mean, that alone is enough to make me want to buy the coin. This coin that I'm looking at is an AU50. If you know the grading, that's an almost uncirculated, which again, to me, is a phenomenal grade for a coin minted in 1652. Now, if it was 1652 in Europe, it wouldn't be that big a deal because you can buy coins in Europe that were minted, you know, in the year 1000 or 500 or 1200 that are still brand new. I mean, you know, Europe's been making coins over there for 3,000 years. So 200-year-old or 300-year-old coin's not that big a deal. But the United States, you get a coin from 1652. That's something pretty spectacular. So here's a coin from 1652. It's got a little bit of wear. That's what an AU 50. That means almost uncirculated. 50 is the number grade. It's a pretty decent looking coin. So in 2004, and this is the type of coin that I think has a lot of potential. So if somebody wanted to be in rare coins, and please understand, I'm not trying to talk you into rare coins. It's just so many people think they have rare coins and they don't. So if you're going to have money in rare coins, put it in something real. This coin in 2004 sold for $5,750. Very reasonable price. And I could go through year after year. The last coin that traded was right around 13,000. So in 10 years, you did a little bit more than double your money, which is respectable. It's not as good as you would have done just in gold bullion or silver bullion. But for buying, if you want to be in rare coins, you want to be diversified. It doubled in 10 years. It's kept its value. It's gone up. It's a pretty stable coin. That's the kind of coin, if you could buy one today, if you could find one for 13,000, I'd probably tell you grab that coin as long as it's certified by NGC or PCGS. Grab it. It's the kind of coin that collectors are always going to love. A pine tree shilling. It's a classic coin. It was, like I said, there's not that many colonial coins around that are this interesting and have as good a story. So there's an example of a coin that, if it's not money you're counting on to buy a new car in 2 years, you spend $13,000 and put it away, and you might do very well on it.
Once again, here's Nick Grovich.
Hi, Nick Grovich. I want to talk about two more areas of the market. Hopefully I can get that done in the last 15 minutes here. So there's one other area. I don't know that I would consider this investment or not, but a lot of people I see, they're sitting on coins. They think they have collectible coins. They think they have rare coins, and they really don't. So if you want to sit on something that's probably not going to lose value at this point, has some chance of maybe picking up some value, but is actually a rare coin and something interesting, some of the silver commemorative coins, from the 20s and 30s are worth looking at. And I was just doing this as a Christmas special, but it's really interesting. The commemoratives, they made 50 different commemoratives. So a complete set's 50 unless you buy every date. And you can buy the first 10 coins for probably less than what it cost you for an MS-65 St. Gaudens coins. You could have 20% of it. For 2 St. Gaudens, you can own almost half of the set. You can own 20 of the 50 coins. Just give you an idea, like an Oregon commemorative half. It has a covered wagon on one side, has an Indian on one side pointing. I think he's pointing west. That coin today in MS-65 is $250. In MS-66, it's $320. Back at the peak of market, that coin went for $1,525 wholesale in MS-66. So you're paying $300 for a coin that went for $1,500. Are you going to get rich on it? No, probably not. Are you going to lose a lot from $300? Probably not. So there's a lot of lower price coins if you're determined to be in rare coins or determined to diversify. There's a lot of different ways you can go. If you're at all interested in information on the commemorative halves, I don't have time to go through it all. I've got a little flyer made up. Call the office, 480-553-5282, and I'll be glad to send that to you. We have a caller on the line. This is Nick.
Yeah, hi, Nick. This is John. Ironically, I talked to you before. Ironically, I had someone come over with some coins that they didn't know what they were worth and wanted to know where I could take them. I said, well, let me look at them first and see if there's anything that looks interesting.
Good.
There's one thing she had that was an 1868, I think it was either a dime or a half dime from Hawaii.
Okay. Yeah, I'd have to look that up. There are a couple coins from Hawaii. 1868 does not sound like the right year, so
I think I might be wrong on the date, but I think they made like 250,000 of them. So it was a low mintage.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty high mintage for that coin. It would have been 1883, I believe, from Hawaii. And depending on the quality, I'm just going off the top of my head. I don't know. I would guess a couple $100, maybe $300, unless it's really high. Unless it's really high grade. Call me at the office in an hour, and I can look it up for you. I just don't have that. I don't have that with me.
Yeah, I'm going to give you your number and have her come down with her set and see what you think.
Yeah, I'd be glad to take a look at it. Sure.
You got it. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, John.
Bye.
Well, that's a good example of, somebody has coins, they don't know what they're worth, and that happens a lot. I'll be interested to see how she ended up with them, if they were inherited or she bought them somewhere. It'll be an interesting story. Hawaii did make their own coins. I could be wrong, but I think it was 1883 they made they had a 1 cent in 1847, I think. I'm going to get these dates wrong, and somebody's going to call me a liar, but I think it was 1847 on the penny. And then they made a dime, a half, a quarter, and a dollar, and I'm pretty sure that was 1883. And they're very sought after. Unless they're in really high quality, they're not worth as much as you would think they are. 250,000 coins for such a specialty coin is actually quite a few coins. Okay, I talked a little bit about the commemoratives. I used to love commemoratives. That's before the market crashed back in 1990. But there are so many of these coins. They're so interesting. There's a Daniel Boone. There's an Arkansas. There's one that commemorates the Bay Bridge in San Francisco. There's a Cleveland Great Lakes Exposition. There's the Oregon I talked about. There's a real interesting one's a Stone Mountain, 1925 Stone Mountain. If you're really interested, by the way, I kind of cornered the market on the Encyclopedia of U.S. Silver and Gold Commemorative Coins. It's a book that's been out of print, I don't know how long, maybe 10 or 15 years. And back when I was real hot on commemoratives, when my clients were making money in this, I bought a couple hundred copies because I was going to use them for something, and then the market crashed, and they're still sitting collecting dust, but they tell you the story about every single commemorative coin. And it's really funny. Again, I don't have time to go through the whole thing, but it's really funny to read the descriptions. The Stone Mountain, they were going to use the money from the Stone Mountain coin. The money they got was going to go towards paying for the carving down in Stone Mountain. They have a carving of who the heck is it? Of Stonewall Jackson and Robert E. Lee, and it's carved in a mountain. And what's funny is it became such a mess that I should know his name, but I don't. The guy who was carving it got so fed up, instead he went and did Mount Rushmore. So maybe if this coin would have gone more smoothly, we wouldn't have Mount Rushmore. The sculptor gave up on Stone Mountain for a while because the government was so involved in it, and he said, "The heck with you guys," and he went off and did that up in South Dakota instead, did Mount Rushmore. So anyway, the story is really funny. It's almost worth owning the coin just to read the story, or buying the book just to read the story. But, there's another coin that in 1989, when the market was hot as a firecracker, you couldn't touch that coin for $2,000, and today it's probably a $300 coin. So, if you like coins, you want to do something with a little bit of money that's not, can it go down from $300? Yeah, it probably can, but I have to think if it's gone from $2,000 to $300, your risk is pretty small at this point. So you could buy them and maybe not make a lot, but you could actually buy the coins, enjoy them, and probably not have a whole heck of a lot of risk. Now, for the average guy out there, I keep talking about the Eagle coins, and I still think for the average investor, for the guy who doesn't want to get real involved in coins, doesn't want to spend $20 or $30 or $40,000 on a single coin, that buying the older half-ounce gold Eagles, the older silver Eagles, and almost any of the platinum Eagles, now I'm talking about the half-ounce, quarter-ounce, tenth-ounce coins, is the best way that you can go. You're basically buying bullion, but you're buying bullion that has lower mintages. Now, again, I caution you because just like this other client did that I told you about earlier, he ran off, told a dealer he wanted gold eagles, and he got them at 4 or 5 times what they were worth. So the trick is you just want to buy them as a bullion coin. So on a half-ounce gold eagle, I don't know, you want to pay $650 to $700, and you want to buy the dates from 1986 maybe up till even 2010 is okay. On the silver eagles, you want to buy just older dates, anything from 1986 again up to maybe 2007 or 2008. And the reason is, as they keep going after these coins for collections, you might get lucky. You might have a coin that the collectors want or the dealers want to build sets, and you might end up getting a lot more for the coin. A 1986 Silver Eagle in PCGS MS70 went at auction recently for $21,000. So I guarantee you, the person who had it, maybe somebody has a box of them, they get them graded, they get lucky. That's a big hit. Would I want to pay $21,000? Not on your life, but I'd love to sell it for that. And so that's what you have to do. Get yourself in a position where you buy it as bullion. Hopefully somebody runs it up to $21,000. You get that wonderful phone call from me or one of my guys and says, hey, how would you like to take that $20 coin and get 21 grand for it? That's the way to do it.